monster. How should I feel? Creatures lie here.
Hi everyone, welcome to another upload from myself. I'm Shane_86, and I thought I'd put a little bit of Battlefield 3 up as the gameplay, but mainly I wanted to talk about Battlefield 4 and people's thoughts on that. I mean, I have a good amount of thoughts on it myself. One of the things that I'm hoping that Battlefield 4 look to do when it's released supposedly next year, there's no official date as of yet, but what I'm hoping is they make it more competitive. Now, when I say more competitive, I don't mean as in the sense of just, normal multiplayer. If you just take, say, for instance, Twitch.tv, the live streaming there, the channels are just overrun with MMOs such as League of Legends and so forth. And I really think it's about time that some FPS games really stepped up. More as in, when I say competitive, as in the fact of real tournaments, things like that which make these games more desirable. If you take League of Legends, just as a prime example, you're talking about 60,000 plus per day viewers anytime on the actual list of Twitch, where if you look at FPS games, the nearest to that would be something like Black Ops, with maybe 10% if you're lucky. So it just kind of shows that the FPS market, to me, is really fading away, and I think Battlefield 4 is maybe one of the people that could turn that around. To me, the gameplay and everything of Battlefield 3 is great, but it's the offline stuff that people like DICE need to sort of step up on. I think, as a whole, it would really improve everything, because if they done it, so would Call of Duty, and so forth. Some suggestions that I've heard and seen on forums about the game, such as with the classes, have it so that they can put whatever they want on their gear, which to me sounds stupid. That's my personal opinion. I really wouldn't understand why, if you're recon, to me you play with a sniper rifle. That's why you pick recon. That was the whole point. But the recon class has its, spawn in, I can't remember the exact name, but you put it down, you spawn on it. Plus its beacon as well. But why would you want to have defibs for recon? It just sounds daft. You just wouldn't have classes at all. So I'm hoping that idea doesn't come in. I like the idea of the classes. I understand the classes, and you choose your classes for the game depending on how the game is going. If you're finding that you're getting overrun by vehicles, sense or logic would tell you, let's pick an engineer, throw down some rockets, or pick a recon, put down your laser designator. But to have a universal class where you just swap and change everything, I don't like the idea of that. But one thing that I would heavily support is what Call of Duty done with the variable scopes. I think that would be a really good increase to the game, because when you look at Battlefield 3, 1 minute you're in close quarter combat, and then you're doing long distance or medium to long. So what better than a red dot sight with, a hollow point as well that you could swap and change, just like on Call of Duty. I think that is something that the game would really benefit from. Another thing is, I'm just, like I say, with this competitive thing, I really do hope that they actually start doing some proper competitions. One, it would be more desirable on things like Twitch.tv, and it would stop the dominance of the MMOs. I mean, you're never going to stop that, but 10% seems crazy, that the fact of the other games, such as League of Legends, World of Warcraft, are so much more popular than Call of Duty and Battlefield 3 at the moment. Even when you live stream these games, the difference I find with viewer count is a lot more on the other games. Yet, realistically, when you actually watch the game, there's probably more action in gameplay in this, but it's just not valued the same. So again, I'm hoping that DICE look to do something there. Another thing that I was hoping to hear from you guys is your personal thoughts on Battlefield 3 and the up-and-coming Battlefield 4. Kind of, what do you think? What would you like to see? What are you hoping to see? It would be great to hear feedback on that. Just leave it in the comments. I've been a big fan of the Battlefield series, and I've got both Battlefield and Call of Duty, so I'm not being biased. I think Call of Duty used to be the better. If you went back to Battlefield Bad Company 2, I personally liked that game more than the Call of Duty series, but realistically, Call of Duty was a better game at that point for the fact of the graphics, and the campaign was had more strength to it. But I definitely think now, since Battlefield 3 has come out, they changed the engine to Frostbite 2, and it is so much better. If you look at the improvement from Battlefield Bad Company 2 to Battlefield 3, what an improvement. But I just think that they got lazy, you know, Call of Duty. I think they just thought they could put out what they want, it would be fine, and no one would care. Again, give me some feedback on that, guys. I'd really appreciate that. And I will leave you to watch the rest of my Battlefield. Enjoy!